All right, welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. I've got Matthew Radin, Matt, of Liberty Group on the show with me today. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Good to meet you.
All right, I'm glad you're here. What is a managed joint venture?
A managed joint venture is a special type of joint venture that we created. A joint venture, by definition, is a situation where two or more people do something together. And my background was with the Realtors, representing thousands of realtors. And so the multiple listing service actually was the inspiration for a managed joint venture because it's managed. It's managed in such a way that two or more people, in that case of a listing, four people, listing broker, listing agent, selling broker, and selling agent, work together to achieve a goal, which is to get a commission check. And that JV is over. Our managed joint ventures have indefinite duration. The goal is to move them from an informal agreement with a guarantee all the way to a formal agreement and an exit strategy.
Got it. Now, RALF, Real Estate Accounting, Legal, and Financial. How do you help RALF?
That's a perfect example of a managed joint venture. See, when you're putting together an initial joint venture of 5 people into a managed joint venture, you're looking for people who share the same ideal client so that the referral to one can be the referral to 2 or more. Now, when you take a look at real estate, it's obvious that for financial freedom, you really need to own 3 things. You need to own your own business, your own real estate, and your own bank. That's another subject for a different day, but it's all about life insurance and having assets available so you can buy businesses in real estate. So real estate is one of the key investments that you need to have financial freedom. Accounting and legal are pretty obvious. You need to have your numbers under control and you need to have the legal documents in place so that you have a real business. And then financial is, where do you put your money? And we love having your own bank. Part of that is called Infinite Banking Concepts, which is part of our personal liberty banking system, which essentially is showing people how to accrue wealth in a tax-free or tax-advantaged format. And so a client who needs services from one of them, for example, buying a house, is going to need the insurance, need the financial planning, is going to need a lawyer, is going to need an accountant. So that person will be marketed by one person, one JV member, but ultimately can become the client of 2 or more JV members.
Got it. All right. And I'm glad you explained it real well. Thank you. All right. MJV, like a network?
It's much more than a network. When people think about referral networks, they think about going to lunch with a group of people and then you trade referrals. And it's all about the people at the meeting. We're all about the client. We're all about collaboration to do the best possible job for the client. One of the stories I tell people is about James Gandolfini's estate, also known as Tony Soprano. And a lot of people don't know the fact that because of an error committed by his attorney, the estate paid over $30 million of unnecessary taxes. $30 million. Now, I submit that if that lawyer had the oversight of a mediator, like myself, would have picked it up in a second, a financial planner and accountant, back to RALF, somebody would have caught the error before it was too late, because when you die, it's too late. So by being proactive and putting the client first, not only do we do a better job for that client, but we have a reason for that client to send us more referrals. And in one case, recently, one annuity client was so impressed by the job we did for them that they sent us 3 referrals in the next 60 days. So you don't get that at a network meeting, whether it's BNI or anything like that. That just doesn't exist. It's all about sitting next to somebody and asking him, I'll send you a referral if you send me mine. The client doesn't enter into that conversation at all.
I can see that this is definitely going to take off. All right. Tell me about the inspiration that came to you to start this.
Well, I was counsel to Long Island Board of Realtors with my partner, Howard. And when I look back on my career, I found that was all JVs. Everything I'd done was a JV. Even the listing is a JV. Even a marriage is a JV. Even a child is a JV. Everything is a JV. That's like how I became JV man. And I wound up creating a software company because I had a risk management system we created for realtors with a company called HMS, Homeowners Marketing Service. And they had the largest book of realtor E&O business in the country. Well, they were having a hard time finding an underwriter for their E&O product, so I came in and I gave them a whole bunch of solutions that became branded the HMS Total Risk Management System. At the HMS meeting, a man came up to me and said, "When are you going to do this for doctors?" And it turned out that was Dr. Mike, who helped me not only to get my contract to build a collaborative system. In 1991, we were synchronizing databases over phone lines in DOS. Okay, and in flat file databases, we were synchronizing databases. So we had this system that was implemented to save a lot of money for the realtors. Well, thanks to Dr. Mike, we then wound up getting Florida Physicians Insurance Company and 10 other medical malpractice insurance companies. And I can tell you, when you're inside the belly of the beast, inside the med-mal companies, you can see why we have such a crisis. So my company came to an end in 2002, but the checks didn't stop till 2010. So I said, okay, residual income is the way to go. So I wound up looking at all I've done. I said, you know what, everybody needs this. I started to look at network marketing. I saw over and over again people starting over and over and over again. So I created this mission statement called Never Start Again. Company's Liberty Group, Liberty Never Start Again. So you hear Liberty Never Start Again, Liberty Never Start Again. That's me. And so the inspiration was taking what I learned from the realtors and the insurance industry, get back to RALF, real estate accounting, legal and financial professionals, coordinate them in a way that gets people better results, and now make it available to the public where I don't need the middleman, I don't need the insurance policy anymore, because there's enough people that need the help, especially RALF professionals and doctors. Healthcare professionals need it desperately, because it comes down to joy. It comes down to passion. It comes down to enjoying your life. And most doctors today, most dentists today, when they get out of dental school, they have about $260,000 in debt. Now they want to buy a practice, another $500,000 in debt. That's close to $800,000 in debt. I know one is almost $900,000 in debt. You got to accept the fact that that dentist, even if he loves dentistry the first day he goes to work, after about a year or two, he's doing it because he has to, not because he wants to. And just to give him that financial freedom to be able to have the decision that he has other sources of income, he has other ways of using his client base, of his referral base, to generate enough income through a real business, a business that you can sell, a business that you can get investment in. That, to me, was a mission that I could undertake. Help people never start again, help them to have a real business, help them to have a piece of real estate, help them to have their own bank, so they have financial freedom. And this is just collaboration from so many different sources that I said, I got to organize this. And that was the inspiration. Just organizing chaos, at the end of the day.
There is definitely a need for everything that you do. I can't wait to start drilling down into these, because we've covered the top high-level, broad topics about this. But as we go forward in our conversations, I'll be looking forward to opening up some of the details of how you've changed people's lives for the better, how you've made an impact on the people that come to you, that in some cases, like the description of the dentist, sometimes they just don't ever see the light at the end of the tunnel until they're worn out. And by then they're just, they're callous to what their options are at that point. You help people see the light and change their lives for the better. I'm very impressed with what we've spoken about today.
Thank you. The dentist, actually, there's another inspiration there. I met a dentist who, because of a divorce and his wife being his office manager, managed for him to go bankrupt and lose his license. So now he wants to be the business broker, helping dentists buy offices with our business brokerage. Then a good friend of mine, who was also my dentist, had a massive stroke. Half his body's paralyzed. He'll never practice dentistry again. What about him? And then my father's best friend was my dentist a long time ago, and he had a heart condition. And he, after his open heart surgery, he had shakes, he had tremors, and he couldn't practice anymore. So it's really an incredible opportunity to help people to not only have a contingency plan, but to have a primary visit that really makes them happy. And when you can do that, when they say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I can sense that you love what you do.
Thank you.
That's a great thing. That's why I'm very privileged and blessed to be part of your mission.
I appreciate that. We're going to talk again, Matt. Thanks for being a guest on the show.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.